John's been lurching from pillar to post here. So just look at the numbers. John McCain, as he's told us repeatedly, voted with George W. Bush 90% of the time. Just the other day it was reported that George Bush voted early in the presidential race, and that he said that he was voting for John McCain. I guess that's what you call returning the favor, because he deserved that vote because he's earned it. Ladies and gentlemen, I know we're not running against President Bush, but we are running against the very Bush economic policies that John McCain wants to continue. Policies that call for tax cuts for companies that send jobs overseas, while providing no relief for 100 million middle-class Americans. Policies that call for taxing our health care benefits as income. Policies that call for another $4 billion a year in new tax breaks for the Exxon Mobils of the world, on top of the $30 billion over the next 10 years they're already getting. Tax cuts that call for $1 billion each for the largest corporations in America. $200 billion overall for those corporations. Another $100 billion on top of that for the very wealthy. But ladies and gentlemen, imagine how much we could do for example, small businesses, middle-class people, just by not spending that $4 billion more on Exxon Mobils of the world, and just not spending another $8 billion in the 8 largest corporations, ladies and gentlemen. We could fundamentally begin to change the economic circumstances of a lot of small business people and a lot of middle-class Americans. Look, folks, when I get back to these have been great campaign days, full of energy, and again, you get back to your hotel or motel about 11, 12 o'clock at night, and I find myself turning on the TV and watching the news of the day. And I often see our opponents and friends, John McCain and Sarah Palin, standing up on a stage like this, and one looks at the other and says, "Maverick," and the other goes, "Maverick," and the other goes, "Mavericks." You know, I love these Mavericks, you know. Well, there's a good friend of mine, the United States Senator from Pennsylvania named Bob Casey from my hometown of Scranton. And to paraphrase Bob Casey, to paraphrase Casey, it's a real simple proposition, he said. You can't call yourself a maverick if all you've been the last 8 years is a sidekick. Folks, if you give Barack and me the honor of serving as your president and vice president, here's what we're going to do. It's literally straightforward and simple. We're going to commit every waking hour, every day and night of our presidency and vice presidency to one, or actually 2 overriding goals. The first is, literally, to attempt to restore the middle class in America. They've been beaten down badly. And the second one is equally as basic. And in a sense, for the young people in the front row here, it may be even more important long term. And that is to restore America's respect in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, the first step in reclaiming that leadership in the world is to end this war. Responsibly, by laying out a timeline to draw down American forces to hand over to the 400,000 Iraqi forces we have trained. I might add, the very negotiation that's going on now between President Bush, after 6 long years, and Prime Minister Maliki, the leader in Iraq. That's what is being negotiated right now. The very plan Barack Obama suggested a year and a half ago. Ladies and gentlemen, the only odd man out is John McCain and Sarah Palin. They're the only ones who say let's continue to spend $10 billion a month indefinitely, while the Iraqis have $87 billion surplus. They're the only ones to call what President Bush is negotiating right now after 6 long years and surrender. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time we get real here. It's time we start to look out for America's interests. And when it comes to restoring the middle class, Barack Obama and I recognize America does well when the middle class does well. When the middle class does well,